Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Jar of Marble dwellers and Jar of Marble curious. My name is Linda and this is Jar of Marbles. And I'm Bob. You are Bob. Bob and I are so glad that you're here. Today we want to talk a little bit about accessing your inner strength. Everything we go through is a part of you. Your school years, your friendships, your career, your whatever experiences, health challenges, family, relationship challenges and woes. Once I was flying back from New Zealand after discovering some serious issues with my family, with my partner at the time and my business, and ultimately friends that I thought I would have for all time. And I was devastated. I had only just had all of it delivered to me in one fell swoop. It was a lot. Oh, that sounds terrible. It was, Bob. A passenger I was sitting next to asked me if I was okay. Now, I wasn't crying. I must have just had some kind of look on my face. Turned out that he was a renowned psychologist who wished to remain forever anonymous, and I told him in 30 words or less what I had only just found out, and I'll never forget what he told me. And he said to me, "Don't hog your journey. It's not just for you." His eyes darted to my relaxed 3 daughters sitting with me. He said, "There will be times when we have to dig deep into our pockets to find a way to keep going with some kind of dignity. Share what you know, share where you've been. It will help somebody." And that's what it's all about. Welcome to Jar of Marbles. So glad you've made it with us today. I'm saying that again because this is my opportunity with the podcast to be able to share what I've experienced, share what I know, just with the hope that it helps one person. And so hashtag accessing your inner strength. How is it that some people can fly through adversity and don't appear to let major events or annoying situations eat them up? Well, I'd have to say for the biggest part that's learned behaviour, that's learned skills. Nobody is ever unaffected by situations that are difficult except for those warriors who are able to access their qualities and strengths to be able to get through tough times. That is not to say that those folk do not feel the strain. It's just that they have a way of dealing with things where they can still enjoy their day. Their life does not stop. Isn't that denial? I would say in this instance, Bob, no, because they're not denying that a situation isn't happening. They've accessed a part of themselves that knows it will pass. This too will pass. That's right, Bob, and it will. They know that if they talk about a problem incessantly and think about it 24/7, that in the end they will have developed other problems, not just the one that they started out with. Oh, that's so true. It is, Bob. These types of people also have a greater level of respect for others. That is, people who have who have different opinions and beliefs, that they can hold space for those that need it. They have no need to take any of it personally. Just as they can keep going when the walls are tumbling down, they can empathise when others' walls are tumbling down too. They respect others and don't have the need to cut them off from what they are saying or belittling them. Not one of us are perfect, but by owning our stuff, it fosters trust and a strong sense of self-awareness. People can think you're very hard or cold if you hold boundaries and are able to maintain your stance on things. You can be thought of or called aggressive or selfish or difficult. That's right. Funny, man. If you're not falling apart because of things going wrong. Others can be experts at blaming everyone else for what they perceive as a slight against them, when in reality they are not being pulled into immature negotiations or poor communications. There are many that do not like you having different opinions. If you want to go down a different path and doing it the way that they think you should go down that path, they might not like you, or they will like you if they approve of how you're going down that road because that was their suggestion, they know better, etc. But they will not like you to handle your life, and they will never own their shit. It will always be your fault. Then certain people have to get a new position in your life, the immature ones emotionally, who have their get out card, the get out of jail card ready to go, the ones that are ever ready to blame you or blame the world. Those ones are the ones that you expect less from. You just expect less from these people. You just expect less. Oh, yes. And you can make the decision to spend more time with them because they're healthy, or you limit your time. As said in many of these episodes, looking after your own mental health, your own well-being is numero uno. Hashtag accessing your inner strength. Folk I've spoken to over the years, and as recent as yesterday, people can beat themselves up for a decision that they've made. They may have regrets as in, oh God, why didn't I see how bad it was? Or how stupid am I that it took me so long to see? Or why did I minimise their behaviour? We hear more of this these days as brave souls have opened up and helping others by sharing such profoundly personal truths that many, if not most of us, have experienced in some shape or form. Statements like, I couldn't see that they were treating me badly. I was still being so kind and caring. I could see what they were doing. I allowed these people to keep taking from me. I knew there was something so very wrong. How stupid was I? No way are you or myself are we stupid. We're just wired that way. Now, from a distance, you can see that it is how they are wired. When I say it's how we're wired to be kind. And I think it's a clear indication that you would never have treated anybody that way, and certainly not the way that they've treated you. Feels good, doesn't it? This is our opportunity to give ourselves kindness, be compassionate to ourselves as we would to a stranger that needed help that you can give. Hashtag accessing your inner strength. That kindness that you were giving all along, it's right there inside you. Make sure you are accessing your kindness for you too while we're accessing our strength. I'm just talking around in circles today, but I know that you're smart and you know what I'm talking about. But make sure you are accessing your kindness for you too while we are accessing our strength, choosing to do so. Boom. That's right. That's it, Bob. I think it's important to acknowledge what has happened to us because in the future, you'll not take shit from anybody.
Well, you said shit.
I did, Bob. The problem with this can be that people can blame themselves for years. I would definitely advise if the voice in your head is talking rubbish and making you feel bad, remember all the toxic behaviours that you were exposed to, it takes work and time to undo and get rid of all of it. It is not your fault. We are all here to support one another on this mental health journey. Starting this podcast has been one of the best things I've ever done. I've talked about subjects that I didn't think I could ever talk about, and it has helped me to face it and be as honest as I can be. And the drive for me was always that if it could help someone in some small way, then wonderful. Not many of us get off scot-free. I chose not to live with someone else's rubbish in my head, and it's truly worth the work. We all have different ways of dealing with things, but if you're not making progress, I would definitely get to a therapist, find someone you can talk to and free yourself. When I couldn't find a therapist or afford it, I read. I looked for inspiring people who knew far more than me on various subjects so I could understand myself better and feel like I was in the driver's seat, not ghosts from decades ago. Have you noticed a person in your life who you thought you knew quite well, that they are not who you thought they were, that they are quite manipulative, that they have benefited from knowing you all along? And when you start to distance yourself from these people, they will probably say something like, oh, you've changed. And what comes to mind is, I don't know that you've changed so much as you're seeing those people in a very different way. They may act annoyed or get very annoyed easily. Just laugh. They're annoyed because they can no longer take advantage of you, and they bloody well know it. Feels like a conundrum, and that is also a red flag. It needn't ever be this complicated, or at least made to feel like it is. Really, really detest that feeling. Seeing people's true manipulative behaviours is a bit of a shit show. It's never a good thing, and they're never going to see it, let alone admit it. They never apologise for their behaviour, but will slide in how they were stressed about something, but they'll never own their behaviours. But now they're barking up the wrong tree. Yep,
That's right.
that's right, Bob. I don't do bullshit. I don't do lies, manipulation or drama.
No, you do not.
As soon as someone is distorting reality, and clearly been doing it for years, there it is, the cold, hard truth of who they are.
Oh, yeah.
Hashtag accessing your inner strength. I recall 1,000 light years ago being told in a reading that I was hiding my true strength, that it was okay for me to openly access my strength and not to hide it. When she was saying What she was saying was not to be compliant, agreeing with everything to keep the peace, because long term we can lose ourselves, can't we? And it happens to too many of us. But there is marvellous hope.
Oh, yes, there is.
Facts are something that can only be determined by seeing it or hearing it for yourself when it comes to people. Facts come from when you have witnessed something yourself. Lots of people think that they know somebody based upon what they've been told by another, and that false knowledge for me is so very harmful to people, and it's worse than being ignorant though, isn't it? It's spiteful and just incredibly unkind. It would be good if people just paused when they're listening to another busy person busy gossiping about someone, because they're probably hearing it from the person who is the problem. The question would you like that done to you? I'd like to ask, do they know that you're telling people this?
Whoa, yippity-doo-dah.
I know, they wouldn't like it. I think it's better to have all the facts before you go around condemning someone. Or here's a thought, how about not condemning anyone? How about that? That's right. Good. Hang on. Sadly, it is a thing in so many families, and that was my first conscious entry into accessing my strength, where so many lies had been told, and I was living overseas. I was not able to defend myself because these are cowards too that we're talking about, remember, and they wouldn't have dared done it in front of me. And also they were still getting money and gifts from me, well, because they were family, or as good in my mind as family. And let me tell you, that is no longer a compliment. But as soon as I was out of sight, they stole and created so many messes that I left the mops in their cupboards.
Why? But why?
Because it wasn't my mess, and I wasn't and will never be interested in breathing air in the same room with them ever. And it's been decades, so it's not loose talk, it's the real deal, banana peel. I've had friends that said to me many times, you're a part of our family, and then did what my family of origin did. So I take insult to anyone that says now, oh, your family. It kind of makes my blood run cold. Of course, that's not my daughters and grandchildren. I think the universe was insisting that I got the lesson, that I got the hint. Hashtag accessing your strength. It's amazing, the human spirit. It is even more incredible to me what we can surpass and thrive after, what appears to be an insurmountable challenge like going no contact. So I've been called stoic a few times in life. I prefer to concentrate on what I can do and what I would like to do, enjoy what I am doing, and keep my mind in that. I don't dip my toe in situations that are right out of my influence, things I cannot change. And guess what?
What?
I have far more moments of peace and enjoy the wonder of a blue sky or even a grey sky.
Oh, so that's not denial?
Not at all. I'm well aware of the challenges, and I'm also aware that there are certain things going on where I cannot change it. I have to ride it out.
An example, please.
Well, as you know, last year, for the best part of 2023, we went through bathroom renovations, and it just turned into this gigantical mess. It was just a bathroom. You'd think they were building a 3-story house, but it took a year. And during that time, I just didn't think about it. I didn't worry about it, to the point that if someone said to me, oh, so look, I hate to ask, but how's the bathroom? It was just like pass or no changes. I really didn't think about it because there was just absolutely no point. And ultimately, I knew the bathroom would get done, didn't know when, and it did. And I'm really glad that I handled it that way. I mean, not to say I didn't have moments, of course I did, but I didn't have a lot of them. Hashtag accessing your inner strength. So, taking mental vacations to restore one's energy, highly recommended. I do like to disappear. That's code for just time away once in a while.
That's code for once a month at least.
I do, and I feel like I'm reclaiming myself every time.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, me too, Bob. I understand how my energy works. It allows me to access my inner strength, to befriend it, to be objective with myself. So very transformative. Dita Von Teese wrote, you can be a delicious ripe peach, and there will still be people in the world that hate peaches. And by Maya Angelou, you may shoot me with your words, you may cut me with your eyes, you may kill me with your hatefulness, but still, like air, I rise. We cannot direct the winds, but we can adjust our sails.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I like that.
This beautiful quote from Khalil Gibran, the deeper the sorrow carves into your being, the more joy you can contain.
Do you want to go to a pagan ritual with me where we'll dance naked under the stars?
Oh, no thanks, Bob. That requires a level of shaving that I just cannot commit to.
Okay.
Accessing that inner strength can feel like a nervous reaction where you know you have to breathe a little deeper and get your thinking hat on. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do is stay away when everything in you is curious and you just want to see if you can fix it. Sometimes it's just not up to you to fix. And when you know the other isn't going to attempt to fix it because, poor thing, they didn't really mean it, fill in the gaps here with the excuses we make for others' bad behaviours, you got to stay right back. Your inner strength is sensible and has knowledge. Your wilder emotions, your ego will want to sort it out. That's just code for make it into an even bigger mess. Hashtag accessing your inner strength. It makes more sense then to have quiet time, to even not think about any of what has gone on, where you find you need to go in and access the brains of the operation. You'll never be sorry for holding back. Calm right on down and allow peace to be your guide. If you've done this or you do this, this will be a sage head nodding moment for you. Like, yep, do that, I know that, which is fantastic. If this makes no sense, you might still be in the thick of it, and maybe you haven't heard of or thought of accessing your inner take no shit woman as a real part of all of us. Sometimes you get what you want. Other times you get a lesson in empathy, compassion, faith, clarity, resilience, humility, and life. Either way, you win. These are the gold in life.
What about money? Sometimes life gets you money.
Yeah, sure thing, Bob, but money does not buy you morals and character, common sense, trust, patience.
Yeah, okay.
Now, regarding accessing your strength, we are all so very different. So I might suggest if you were to look over the past year, don't think of the pain you felt. Consider the strength that you've gained and appreciate how far you've come. One thing I know for sure, you can do absolutely nothing in this life, and after a year, something will have changed. So even if you just sit down, you do nothing, which none of us absolutely do, but life will change anyway. And I love that because then it makes me feel that by doing small changes and small steps, I am creating change with a kind of ease. And sometimes that's all we have in us at the time. And when we've been through a lot, heaps, sometimes it can be just so overwhelming. And I will take that. Thank you. That's right. That's for all of us. Thank you very much. Give yourself credit for your resilience. This is building your inner strength muscle. So when I'm saying keep going, I'm often tapping into that inner strength and knowing it's there, and I'm aware of it now. So let today be the start of something new. Be your own hero, marble dwellers. And in the end, you have to be there for yourself because everyone else is busy saving themselves, and so they should. I would also say be kind and patient with yourself if these are relatively new concepts.
That worked.
That's right, Bob.
Correct.
It's important that you cut yourself a break because who you're becoming, you haven't been before.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, me too, Bob. Mastery of your thoughts is key. It's huge, it's bigger than big, and thankfully it's easy. That is all tied in with making a choice and sticking with it. If you don't control what you think, you can't control what you do. So do yourself lots of favours, I would also say. Get up and try one more time. You haven't come this far to stop.
No, you have not.
Oh, another applause? Why not?
I love it.
I love the idea of uplifting each other, cheering each other on.
Well, the sky could be awfully dark with just one star.
True words, Bob. I'd say hold on to your ideals. Have high thoughts about life, even though there are bad things. Life is as blessed as we think it can be. Those words soothe me.
Watching me grow has been my favourite show.
Oh, good on you, Bob. As you're holding on to your ideals, you're strengthening your inner resolve. I'd say behind every person who knows their own company is a person who has learnt how to heal. It just hits you different when you know who you are. Sometimes you might feel like no one's there for you, but you know who's always there for you? Laundry. Laundry will always be there for you. Oh,
Yes.
I think it's important to hear and know it's not selfish to love yourself, care about your well-being, or to make your happiness a priority. It is necessary. Agreed?
Agreed.
When I realised that some of my pain originated from the actions of others, I began to take responsibility for my story. And while this is moons ago now, I had woken up to the fact I had finally realised my pain came from chasing those who really did not want me. So I set myself free. This made accessing my inner strength, which we all have, not so much my last-ditch effort to feel better, but just obvious next steps. But for those who are old hands at accessing their inner queenager, their messy, inner-haired, wild woman goddess with feisty hearts and spirits who aren't afraid to speak up, you've earned your stripes. There's your go free card for life. Try to avoid folk that have the emotional intelligence of a soggy cat turd. And as Albert Einstein said, be a loner. That gives you time to wonder, to search for the truth, have holy curiosity, and make your life worth living. Your own aliveness will reveal any remaining mental prisons and will help to set others free too. There's not something you hear much about over the dinner table, is it? So Bob has been accessing his inner strength.
I have?
Well, you have.
You ask me things like that regularly, but I do get your point.
Well, good on you, Bob. And a parting quote from Elizabeth Gilbert.
Parting? I don't like the sound of that.
It's all right, Bob. It's okay. Breathe.
Okay.
The women who I love and admire for their strength and grace did not get that way because shit worked out. They got that way because shit went wrong and they handled it. They handled it in 1,000 different ways on 1,000 different days, but they handled it. Those women are my superheroes. That's just fantastic. And we do. Well, Marble Dwellers, it is that time again.
Oh, no.
Yes, it is, Bob. We hope you enjoyed this week's offering, Accessing Your Inner Strength. I look forward to hanging out with you again. So say good day to the family for me. Give the frog a wave. And we'll see you next time, okay? Okay then. Bye.
Bye-bye.